Now, the Tourism Business Council of South Africa has raised concerns over the possibility of the full closure of things like beaches during this festive season. This comes amid a speculation that the Coronavirus Command Council might consider closing beaches during the Christmas period to help slow the rapid spread of COVID-19. President Cyril Ramaphosa, as we now know, will address the nation at 8 p.m. tonight on developments to the country's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. For more on this, we are joined via Zoom. Tshifhiwa Tshivhengwa, CEO of the Tourism Business Council of South Africa, joins me now. Tshifhiwa, welcome to SA Today. Huge concern for you, huge concern for the tourism industry in South Africa, which has suffered tremendously since March. We were only trying to get our feet wet now, going into the holiday season, to try and regain the losses of the past couple of months.
No, absolutely. You know, we have been suffering. We were the first industry to be closed and the last one to be opened. And now we are getting into a situation where we're trying to recover, trying to get to some level of trading where we can be able to sustain our jobs and be able to, sustain these companies. And, the news of, closure of the beaches, doesn't, bode well for tourism recovery. And we have been saying this for quite some time, that, we need to take a measured approach based on where the problem lies. And also let's have a disaggregated, position whereby we deal with the problem where it exists. Closing the beaches, will not make people not sit at home and gather or go to friends and so forth and so on. So we've always believed that, going out to the public with, a campaign on educating people, making sure that, they are not too relaxed or don't want to wear masks is the best way to deal with the situation, because we're still going to have, other swings of this virus, provided we don't have a vaccine. And we need to make sure that we can balance the two, making sure that the citizens and the residents are able to do what they're supposed to do in terms of compliance.
Whilst many of your partners work hard to make sure that people come to the holiday destinations, whether it's a hotel or Airbnb, they sanitize, they make sure they're safe, there is worry. We've seen videos of the past couple of weeks where people go to your Ayadini, no masks, no nothing. You've seen people video streaming right now from the Eastern Cape. People are having a jolly good time at Braai areas. This must worry you, because whilst you want to help those very individuals who've been suffering, they seem to lax the regulations when the money is coming in.
No, absolutely. We are worried about the situation, the videos that we have seen circulating of people not wearing masks and dancing around as if, the pandemic is finished. We do believe that, those businesses needs to be, talked to, and a harsher action needs to follow. We can't have a situation whereby when we are trying to open up the sector and then we have, some other establishments, that are operating and flaunting the rules of COVID-19 protocols, as well as the regulations. We can't have that situation. And we do acknowledge that there is, problems in those specific areas whereby people go out, they drink, they want to mix and mingle. We do understand that, it's December, people used to do that on a normal circumstance, but this is not a normal circumstance. We are living in a pandemic and we need to do things differently. And we do call upon all those establishments, both formal and informal establishments, they must follow the protocols that we've put out there to make sure that we remain open. It doesn't help to get one or two that are flaunting rules. And when they flaunt rules, they taint the whole industry. So it's important that we deal with those, specific ones, and we make sure that, they comply. But it's important that all of us, when we go to those establishments, insist on seeing, the protocols, insist on signing your names, insist on your temperature being taken. That's a way of, also protecting yourself and making sure that, everyone is wearing masks and everyone who's sitting there is not spreading the virus. So It is a cause for concern that what we have seen. We will be having a meeting with those that we have seen flaunting the rules. And if there's anyone that have seen someone else, they must report it to us. We should be able to deal with them. But it's important that all of us, especially from the establishment owners, that it's a zero tolerance when it comes to people that are coming to our area. We can't have a situation where we are relaxed.
That's where the question I wanted to go to. We've had conversations have been going on since March. We are now hit a second wave. Maybe it's time not to speak, but go in there with a sledgehammer and close and revoke people's licenses.
Look, that's absolutely another way of dealing with the situation. It's a painful way, and that's why we're saying to all the establishments, you got to comply. But in the absence of compliance and those that are being rogue, when it comes to COVID protocols and regulations, we will encourage the police to intervene and, go in there, look at whether, they're following the regulations. And if they are not, there's nothing else we can do, but we need to protect the citizens of this country and protect, other patrons that are coming in. If they have to be closed, so be it. I think that an example of one or two will change the behaviors. But it's important that we understand that it's only few of these that are breaking rules. There are many within the formal and informal tourism and hospitality sector that are following protocols, that are following rules, and they are there to support their families. We need to enable them to do so, and we need to enable those that are working for them, to also be able to earn an income. It's important that we balance the two and we deal with the rogue elements.
Yeah. Just maybe on the side note as well, we heard this morning the Minister of International Relations, Minister Naledi Pandor, speaking about South African tourists who want to leave the country. Another aspect of some of the priorities where you come in, the question I wanted to ask you, she mentioned something interesting with regards to insurance. A lot of South Africans, they leave the country, they kind of flout insurance. I don't take insurance if I'm flying down to Durban, then your bag goes missing or you end up not having enough money. How important is it for South African travelers to be able to have enough insurance to make sure that if anything does happen, they've got enough money to sustain themselves wherever they find themselves across the world or even in South Africa?
No, absolutely. It's important that anyone who's traveling outside of the country, number one, understand the regulations of the country that you're going to be visiting. If the country that you're going to requires you to have a COVID test or requires you to have insurance, you got to follow that and get insurance and have COVID test. I think one other important thing that the minister was talking about is to ensuring that, whatever is happening in that country, you don't get stranded there if they close their airspace in terms of flying back home. So, you got to make sure that when you get out of the country, you are prepared. Choose your destination wisely. Make sure that you follow, everything that the country that you're going to requires of you, and make sure that you have enough cash at hand, to spend. And majority of people, those who have medical insurance here at home, is just a phone call away to talk to your, medical insurance company, and they can extend those benefits when you travel. Some of them. May not be all of them, but also taking an insurance and paying a small fee so that you are covered for any medical emergency is a good way, if you're traveling out of the country. But most of all, understand where you're going, what are the rules of where you're going, and also what's required of you when you arrive at the airport of the country that you're going to. So those are the most important things. For us, we do understand when people come into our country, they do know what they need to be doing, and therefore, it works smooth. So for going out, we've got to do the same thing.
Tshifhiwa Tshivhengwa, CEO of the Tourism Business Council of South Africa, thank you indeed for speaking to us. Much appreciated for your time.